I'll be quick then, folks. So it's great to meet everybody. My name is Jared Rivera. I'm Deputy Mayor of Community Engagement with Mayor Bass. I started, going on, it's been about 4 months now. I started in the beginning of June. Just a little bit about myself. I shared that I live in Highland Park and with my wife and our two boys. We have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. I come to the city really after a long career as an organizer. So I started off in the city doing interfaith organizing with an organization called LA Voice that worked on a variety of community issues. And then the last about 14 years, I worked in the labor movement. So I was political director of SEIU 2015, which was a statewide union of long-term care workers. And if I'm being honest, my work was to help to get a lot of folks elected. I never envisioned myself to work for an elected official, but the one exception would be for Mayor Bass, because I have just long been really in awe of the work she's done and her history. So I have some of my colleagues here that I just wanted to introduce. The first one is Marion Ensley, who I'm so excited. How long have you been on board, Marion?
I completed a month last week.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes.
So Marion is our West LA area rep. So she is really your go-to person. So please make sure you get her information before you leave. Really, feel free to reach out to Marion about anything like the things that we're talking about. You need to get information, all that. Marion, do you want to just say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, as we just said, I've been here about a month now, and I've been really excited to be here. My background is completely different. It's media sales and marketing, and I've worked in this area the majority of my career. I frequent LACMA, going to Friday Night Jazz and the salsa on Saturdays. Yeah, so just, this is actually feels like home for me. But I wanted to do something different. I think the issue with the unhoused was the catalyst for me to make a change and try to see if I could make a difference. And who better than to work for Mayor Bass, and had the opportunity to work with Jared and our amazing team. So just really excited to get to know you. And this is what I love the most. I think big meetings are great, but these intimate meetings where, we learned so much from you in the first 5 minutes. So, I'm here, 5 people, 500 people.
You should come back at a regular meeting, because we went to our first one the other night. He's the head of the organization. There's a lot of sharp people in the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, really interesting.
Great, yeah.
Well, we'll be back.
Yeah,
It's worth coming back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the next one is virtual, actually.
Oh, great,
Okay,
great.
okay.
And then we have Vahid Porsen, who is a commissioner with the Department of Public Works, and a lot of experience in the city, knows much more than we do about many things. So he's the person that we ask about how things work. Vahid, do you want to just say a little bit about yourself?
I will share with the fun one
Yeah,
that I was telling Jared and Marion earlier. So my first girlfriend lived here some 2 decades ago. So first girlfriend equals first love as well, which, broken heart and everything. So no, as Deputy Mayor Rivera said, Board of Public Works Commissioner, we oversee 5 bureaus: Streets LA, Bureau of Street Lighting, LA Sanitation, Bureau of Engineering, and also Bureau of Contract Administration. The great thing about this team and Mayor Bass is we're very community oriented, engagement oriented. So I appreciate being out here and with the team, really being able to interact and quickly solve answers and provide information. It's a lot different than other administrations have done it before, and we look forward to doing it. And you can contact Marion if there's an issue, and then I can follow up, or I gave you my card, you can reach out directly as well.
So I did want to share, if it's okay, just a couple of quick updates. I have some notes here. I want to make sure I get the information right. So, I think it's pretty, I think folks know that the mayor's first priority starting on day one was to tackle the crisis of the unhoused all throughout Los Angeles. That started with a set of executive directives on day one, and it also was with the Inside Safe program. And the Inside Safe is really the strategy that we have going out to some of the largest and most prevailing encampments that really, are just really rob people of their humanity in the encampments and just cause tremendous deterioration of quality of life of neighborhoods. So We just this week have conducted our 28th operation since the mayor came into office, and that has moved a little bit more than 1,600 folks have come inside. I know Marion was up there. Where was the one? Remind us where the one was
We
this
were
week.
on Vermont and Beverly.
Yeah. So,
What you may remember is that I think one of the very first Inside Safe operations was literally across the street from us. So we
yeah.
really appreciated the quick action.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, five. It's a great question. So, really, the only thing that prevents us, frankly, from doing more Inside Safe operations is the supply of interim housing that exists throughout the city. So, those operations do not happen unless there is a bed that is waiting for folks. And our team has been going out actually and doing a number of tours of some of these sites. So we were over in right by the Chinatown transit station right there. If you ever are driving that way, there's one called the Hilda Solis Put Care First Village that's run by the Weingart Center. We also toured last week the LA Grand.
Is that the one on Main, and it looks like they're built out of shipping containers?
Yes, yeah, it's a really wide open space. It's
Yeah.
right across from the California Endowment
Yeah.
Foundation building
Yeah.
there. So we toured that one. We also just went last week to the LA Grand Hotel, which has been converted to that. I mean, honestly, they're really, I walked away being really inspired when I see those because they have really everything on site. So there's a on-site medical clinic with full nursing care that's there. There's an activities coordinator that's there. There is drug and alcohol treatment programs that are there. There's all kinds of activities, and it's really about, it's interim because the idea is getting people, out of the tents and really preparing them to move into permanent housing. And so that is something that, to be honest, we will be returning to communities because, I often say that nobody has a problem with us tackling encampments, but then there's always the situation of where are you going to house folks, and people have all kinds of ideas about what they look like. And as we've been kind of going and leasing and acquiring some of these buildings, we've taken residents on tours of the building so they can see with their own eyes about what it looks like, and it's been really inspiring. Yeah.
Let's say, go back to something you said earlier. My dad was a shop steward at SEIU, so I'm very proud that you're here.
What did he do?
He worked at the county and hospital for years as a steam fitter.
Yeah.
So it's great. But anyway, going back to what you're talking about, I really love that Karen did that first. But I have seen in two places things that she's doing that is not good in that route. Okay, there's on Mission Road. This is near Lincoln Heights and Well Heights.
Okay, yep.
There's a thing they're putting up right now with these little white huts.
Okay.
And they have the same
Tiny
thing.
homes.
Beverly is the same thing being built a little closer to here. And I find those incredibly inhuman. They're incredibly small for these people. These aren't permanent housing. And I think it's worse than when they're in their own campers.
And the ones on Mission Road, it's Mission Road here, then the freeway, then a different freeway. Surrounded by chains of
Near
fence.
junkyards, surrounded by junkyards.
If it was me,
There's parts of the city that put homeless people.
it's horrible.
Yeah, I live very close to, I think, the largest tiny home village in the country in Highland Park. That predated the mayor coming in. I will say that, the acquisitions that are happening now are, it is not the priority of the mayor to do the tiny home villages, because she's really said, so a lot of times people have said, they've criticized, say, the housing first policy, and the mayor always corrects it that it's housing and services first. So it really is those wraparound services. So I would, we'd love to send you some information about some of, like the Mayfair is another one that the city just acquired. That is a 15-story building.
Those little junk hotels.
Yeah, and so we're doing a complete renovation. Again, it's going to have all of the services that I described at the LA Grand, and it's also going to have activities and all that kind of stuff. And that really is the vision of what we're trying to do. However, it's just a question of money and space that prevents us.
You're building one near that city I just told you about. That's actually excellent. It's on Main Street, just west of Mission, and it's a beautiful four-story building for homeless people. It's going to have all kinds of supportive services. The only thing they haven't announced, they were supposed to have a market on the first floor, which would be great for Lincoln Heights.
Okay.
Have you heard what they're gonna do on the first floor?
I haven't, but we can follow up. with
Have you
that.
seen that building?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'd love to go see it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And they did a really good, I mean, it's a little out of sync with our neighborhood as far as the density and height, but on the other hand, it's better putting people in beautiful things like
Yeah,
that. than the little
absolutely.
huts.
Yeah.
It's 3,000 North Main.
Okay, yeah. Just,
Your Honor, at our last meeting with the general manager, Ms. Tomas, she spoke of the AUDs.
yes.
Could you give us an idea? I'm a military man, so I've seen such things, about what the weight is of such a unit that they're thinking of putting on the top of our garages?
Well, I don't know that I know the answer to that. We were just discussing that just a second ago, that it was news to us, and we need to do a little bit of investigation because, Vahid, do you want to talk? Vahid previously was on the planning commission and can speak. So we have some questions about exactly what it's talking about.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by it too, because if it's specific to the ADU law, that applies only to single family zones. It doesn't mean you can't put an ADU here. It just requires a lot more logistics in terms of going through the planning department, building and safety. So I asked if you can send me that information, I can look it up. While we were talking, I was looking up to see what the zoning requirements were for here, if that would be possible. But the internet's kind of slow, so I couldn't. So I'm already looking into it. There's a lot more to it than just saying we're gonna put ADUs. I don't think it's something that is gonna happen overnight. And when it comes to
It's
parking,
gonna happen relatively soon here, though. I know she said it's gonna take a long time to get it through the city bureaucracy, but she hemmed and hawed about the fact they just took out a major loan. And obviously some of that money is intended towards expenses towards.
that I can't speak to, but it would, to go through the city process, like they have to submit documentation. I didn't see anything filed with the city. So that part hasn't started yet. They'd have to notify you and other surrounding neighbors as well. The parking one is a little bit interesting too, because this property is relatively, not new. So it has different parking requirements that were built in when it was built. So there's minimum parking requirements they have to meet per unit based on the old codes. So there's a lot of changes they have to go through to be able to do it.
Sir, could you give me some idea of the actual weight of one of these units?
The weight, I'm not sure because I don't know what size it is. So to apply for the ADU law, it's up to 1,000 square feet, right? So I don't know the actual weight because I don't know what size they're talking about, to what limit they're talking about. Or how many, if they're meaning like containers or type infrastructure rather than an actual ADU unit. So I'm sorry, I don't know the plan, so I can't speak to the size and weight of it.
But it would be a heavy object, sir, if it was one of these 1,000-foot units.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
we have very similar questions to what you all have, and so we'll take a look at it and see if we can see anything. But yeah, any information you can send.
I would brought up using, what's that word? You're trying to protect historic structures. Because these buildings are kind of amazing. The whole area is kind of amazing. And she said, oh, well, we're gonna put new windows in, so you won't be able to do historic structures anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason. It's kind of strange.
The other thing I wanted to highlight was we've been talking to a number of communities. We know that there are, a number of concerns about public safety. So there's a couple of things that the mayor is working on. You may have seen in the paper that the mayor just recently kind of led the charge to settle the contract with LAPD. And really a lot of that was to get at filling the vacancies. There was something around 900 vacancies that were in the police department. And, the mayor often talks about this, that I believe that it's the city of Alameda up in the Bay Area that was doing huge signing bonuses, like tens of thousands of dollars, for that. So that really is what, the city of LA is competing with. So it's a contract that settles out for a number of years. It did provide pay increases and a number of incentives. I thought this was interesting that in August, kind of as a result of this, the LAPD said that 1,048 people applied for positions, which is the largest amount of applications in a single month since September 2020. So the mayor does really see keeping people safe as her number 1 priority.
Is it a diverse group?
I can't speak to that exactly, but
I think that's it.
I think you're right. Yeah, and and I know also, you know, that we've the mayor formed a task force to specifically look at the smash and grab crimes that have been happening in the valley and really kind of all over the city. And so that was something that, you know, she pulled together this interdepartmental group that's working on that. It's resulted in about 48 arrests since that has launched. And, you know, people may know this, but a lot of the, you know, these smash and grabs have been highly coordinated. You know, it's connected to kind of coordinated street gang activities. And so it really does require some important detective work. So that is happening. And then recently the mayor secured for this end a $15.7 million grant from the state specifically to go after this organized retail crime. So it's, you know, we're all watching it and kind of, you know, horrified by the things that we're seeing. So that's really important. And then the last thing I'll just kind of point out is, you know, we're all very concerned by the rising number of evictions that are happening across the city as some of the protections that existed under COVID have been lifted. And so we just closed an application process for an emergency rental assistance program that is really targeting the most low-income renters in the city. I mean, you know, the mayor often talks about the fact that we can't combat homelessness when we're watching people get evicted from their homes. So that is something that we're very concerned with. The last voters passed last year Measure ULA, which was a tax on what's called, you know, the mansion tax on homes over $5 million. That is still unsettled business because there is a lawsuit that has been filed. However, this year the mayor has a commitment for $150 million from that fund. I'll just let you know kind of the categories of what that covers. So that's the $18.4 million for the emergency rental assistance program that I just talked about. It's $23 million for eviction defense and prevention. It's $5 million for tenant outreach and education. It's $23 million for rental subsidies and move-in assistance. That's specifically for seniors and people with disabilities. And it's $56 million for multifamily affordable housing development. So these things take time to come online, and particularly the affordable housing development. But you know, it's just a key part to the strategy to make sure that we are preventing homelessness before people are homeless. Yes.
At our last meeting, first meeting we went to, like I said, the last meeting of this group, there were some war stories here about people being forced attempts eviction by this management. I mean, they had people that have been living here. One guy who was here for 14 years, and he was late. So if you're 5 days late, they jump on you. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so he could not use the site to pay his bill. He had to use a cashier check.
Wow.
Sorry, he went through all kinds of crazies, and there were several. I haven't affected by it. I never will be. But I think there's a problem here in that they're jumping too fast.
So this is really important. So we have we've recently completely staffed up a constituent services team in the mayor's office. If you go on the mayor's website, I don't even know what it is off the top of my head.
mayor.lacity.org.
So if you go on our website and you just look at constituent services, you can fill out a form. So I would say this to anybody that you know, if they have received an eviction notice, please reach out right away, because we treat those with high priority, and we'll make sure, you know, we will have somebody call them back immediately to make sure that they have resources, particularly for those evictions. You could use that form for any issues that you have as it relates to city services, but in particular, if anybody that you know gets that eviction notice, please make sure you contact us right away so that we can link you with the correct services. And then the one thing I did want to just flag, we really want to stay in touch with people. We have a QR code. If you scan that with your phone, it makes it very easy for us to keep you updated. I promise we're not spamming you. We're not sending information all the time, but we do want to get you important information when it comes out. So if you can fill that out, that'd be great. And then I did want to pass it over to Vahid to give, I think he has a couple of updates from Public Works, and then we're happy to take any more questions.
So we have, thank you. We have two big things going on. Well, one is an ongoing thing. As some of you may have read in the news, the city for the first time has changed its contract on its street furniture contractor. And so we are revitalizing 3,000 and also creating 3,000 new bus benches. I have flyers here about it. It's called the Sidewalk Transit Amenities Program. And rather than just doing it blindly in the dark and not getting feedback, what we're asking is community members to engage, take surveys, attend the meetings, provide feedback on what kind of shade structures you would like, what other types of, and what other types of structures you'd like to see. Yes.
Let's make a couple suggestions. I've noticed more across the city, where we lived in Lincoln Heights before. They obviously when they put these previous things where they put benches in and they put garbage cans in. And over a period of like the last year and a half, 2 years, all those garbage cans have disappeared. So suddenly the city is faced with garbage all over the streets. They have to pay more money to collect. And I bet you those people are breaking their contracts because they must be required to have trash cans. So even on the old series, if you guys have a way to look into that, look at Lincoln Heights. And I'm telling you, just astounding my trash cans disappeared within a minute.
I don't think these ones will have trash cans because that's going to be part of a different element, but those are city operated, the trash. So that would be the Department of Sanitation.
No,
These are
they-
not the,
Right, but the new way we do it, like if you walk now, you will see a different trash can that says like City of LA on it.
the rest of,
Yeah.
these were part of the bus.
Yeah.
these are part of the bus now.
But the city didn't put in cans to make up for all these cans that disappeared. And then another thing I want to mention to you, I guess all of you, is I know the city and the county are two different bureaucracies. We read recently, yesterday I think it was, there's a terrible thing happening with the museum expansion. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible, because I think it's wonderful what they're doing. I wouldn't have done it that way they're doing it, but it's still wonderful. They're doing that right across the street from us. But what they did is they had problems building with the tar, okay? And they had problems that they need to put more money into the foundation. And so they're cutting more and more money out of the budget for this wonderful museum that was supposed to build. It's becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. The architects. So it was on the news, if you're looking online. And now they're postponing opening it for I think 2 to 3 years beyond when they were supposed to. And I know you guys are separate entities, but perhaps there's some city money that could go to restore the way they were gonna do the Chart Museum and speed it up.
Okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's been postponed, and I believe the opening of the trains here, which will have a massive impact on us. We don't wanna be in Carson. We love trains.
It's another year.
Yeah, it's more than a year. We're at the neighborhood council.
I take the train every day. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
They should hopefully do something so they don't have to postpone that either. There's so much traffic around here. They need to get people out to rush. Yeah, young people are doing it.
Yep.
Old people don't.
So you're speaking of the purple one?
Yeah.
One that,
Yeah.
the transit.
We had a representative from them come and speak at the neighborhood council just the other night, 2 nights ago. Yeah, and he just talked about that it was gonna be delayed.
We're in a tar area. At one time, there were real oil wells here in the late 1800s. And when they drill down far enough, they begin to get seepages of oil. And that's what's delaying the construction process. Let's say back in even 1920, they had pumping oil wells here, not dissimilar to what you have in the Kenneth Hahn Park, where you still
Well,
see.
Jack in the
pumping-
Box is around the
Yeah,
corner.
right, exactly, yes. And there's just so much they can do, and let's say draining out, many years ago, we had a fire on Third and the Ross Dress for Less is Third and Ogden, because natural gas started flowing up. And they had to call the fire department to put it out.
Right, the article says that the ground was softer than they expected.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Come on.
Seriously, hire a geologist,
Yeah.
that's what they're there for.
But the main thing is, we've been to some of the most amazing museums in the country, and this should be one of them.
Yeah.
If they cheapen the inside and cheapen the structure, definitely if they make it smaller, it's already gonna be smaller than the original, I believe.
Yeah.
But if they do these things, it'd be unfortunate. Maybe the city can get involved.
Okay, yeah, we can take a look at that. Any other questions, folks? Yes.
Sir, you mentioned about the police department. Are you thinking also of expanding the fire department with more personnel and more equipment?
I don't want to, I believe we are close to fully staffed for the fire department. Do you know, happen to know the numbers on the, my understanding is that that is pretty fully staffed where it is. I know it's not the situation that it is with police, where there were just a number of open vacancies that have been there. So it's a little bit of a different situation. But I will say, we are about to get into the budget process for next year, where those types of questions will come up. And I know Marion will probably be reaching out to folks to let you know how you can weigh in on the budget, which really has implications for a number of the things that we're talking about. And one thing I failed to mention too is that this is not yet public, but we are preparing to do a citywide safety survey to really understand the needs that folks have as it relates to safety issues. And so we will be returning to communities like this to do a formal survey, because the mayor wants to make sure that any changes that we do is based on data that we're getting from residents like yourself. So that's not yet public, but we will let you know when that goes online.
That's great.
Yeah.
We have access to an email list here and for the whole residency. So like if you need help with that,
Great.
happy to help.
That'd be great. Well, thanks, folks. It's really been great to meet you all. I did not piece it together when I pulled in here but my family and I did family portraits right over there by the fountain. About a year and a half ago, my wife found a photographer, and I do remember being over there just thinking, well, what is this place? Kids are running around. It's just like small town living in the middle,
Yeah.
in the middle of Los
Really
Angeles.
unique.
So, please invite us back, for further events. Again, let's make sure that, you have Marion's contact information, anything that you need from us, feel free to consider us a resource, and we'd love to be connected. And I'm very jealous of the movie showing that you're going to have next. I'll let you go to that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.